Thank you. Next feedback. Vale, perfect. Thank you very much, Jordi. So I'm going to talk about the challenges we are facing in Sant Joan de Déu as a hospital, implanting 3D printing in our surgeries, orthopedics, and also in producing prototypes for medical devices. Now we have done 44 surgeries already. Some are gold standard, which means that are introduced in the normal doing of the surgeries, which are maxillofacial surgeries. But we have first cases of exit in other specialties that we will talk now. We also have a medical product commercialized, being produced with 3D prototyping, and also 2 new products in development, and 1 publication from Dr. Crowell. The first case, it's a prototype for complex surgical oncologic cases, cases that before were not simulated and now can be simulated 3 times before surgery. Something that in other industries have been done since years, now it is possible thanks to 3D printing in healthcare sector also. We have 4 cases that afterwards we'll talk more in detail. Also, we used 3D printing for a pinna reconstruction of a patient with microtia. Microtia is a disease that you born with and in which you don't have the pinna, the pinna of your ear. What they did is using computer tomography, they take the cut of the good ear and they did the mirror it to create a model that they used during surgery to reconstruct the ear that was missing. That was a case of exit from Dr. Jose Parry. We also used 3D printing for pelvic reconstruction with autologous fibula. That was one of the first cases in Spain, and with a new technique first used in the world. Dr. Soldado and Dr. Torné from orthopedic and trauma surgery used the 3D printing to see how the pelvis of the patient was and to plan all the surgery before going to the real one. Also, we use it in congenital disclosure for vertebrae. Those are patients that have a progressive paraplegia, and without having used this technique, it would be difficult, and sometimes, most of the times, it would need a second intervention. What they did is that they planned prior to surgery all the approach, and then they intraoperate in the surgery with cutting guides and positioning guides so that they knew exactly what they have to cut. They estimate that the time saving for this procedure is about 40% of the surgery, which means time of anesthesia and reduced time of intervention, improving amazingly the results. And then what I said before, in maxillofacial surgery, it's been a gold standard. It's used since 10 years ago, where it was the first publication. And now we are opening new ways, thanks to Dr. Josep Rubio from Hospital Sant Joan de Déu, doing distraction orthognosis surgery and mandibular distractions and rhinoplasty. They use anatomical models to plan the surgery. They use cutting guides as they use the orthognathia and trauma, and also positioning guides to do the cuts. The system of doing it, it's much more industrialized than it is in other cases. They get the registries, they have a webinar in which they intervene for second time the patient virtually before going to the real surgery, and they have a revision of all these materials before entering the real surgery. So again, we have 3 times done the surgery before going to the real surgery, which improve amazingly also the results. And the same procedure happens with cranial surgery with congenital malformations. That's a case of a boy that came from Africa here to have this surgery made by Dr. Rubio and also Dr. Garcia Lamar, neurosurgeries. And they use the same technique to reconstruct the cranium of this patient. You can see the model, it's there. In another area of application of 3D printing, we have orthosis and prosthetics and support tools for patients that need rehabilitation after a stroke. The amazing thing we can do with 3D printing is that we can personalize at the point of demand the orthesis and the prosthetics for a single person. Before, it was done just in mass producing, and sometimes it had problems that have to be adapted by people and rehabilitation professionals. And also the Paljog, which is an fusion stand toy, that was the first product we produced in 2009 in Hospital Sant Joan de Déu Innovation Department. That's a product that now it's commercialized. And it was ideated by Guillermo Puche, which is a professional from Hospital Sant Joan de Déu, who sees that infusion stands normally are dark and gray and not pediatrized. So what we've done is with Fundació CIM, IDOM Engineering, and School of Design Lodja, redesign this product and create this new product that now you can see in the hospital. And it's like a skateboard where kids can go on and move inside the hospital. So we've done several cases now, exit cases, first cases in Spain, and we are pioneering some cases in surgery. But to adopt 3D printing in the hospital, we have great challenges. The first one is cost. Now, for a surgery, the cost of having all these models and all this procedure is almost the half of the cost of a surgery, which means it's too much for having it as a gold standard. Also, the time of obtaining all the models and all this procedure. In maxillofacial surgery, which is a gold standard and the process is industrialized, you can have it in 48 hours, they told me before. When now we are, in other cases, having this for 2 weeks, working 2 weeks in the models before going to real surgery. That's too much time for a patient that is waiting for being intervened. Also, the soft tissue differentiation. With bones, it is easy to differentiate after TAG, taking the decoms, the different tissues. With soft tissues, it's not so easy, and that makes it more difficult to reduce this time of intervention. Also, we need new materials that mimic the anatomy of the body and improve the finishes of the surface of the models to be planned before surgeries. And at the end, we need some kind of a standardization as we have with other products that we get from industry. Now we are entering in a new world where 3D printing can give what the patient needs in the point of demand in the moment they need, going to a more personalized medicine. But that requires also standardized and certification products that can have quality control, testing, and pass the common regulations. I want to finish with the benefits it have. Again, great security, time of anesthesia reduction and ischemia, simulation training and reduced complications, better efficiency, reduction of intervention time, reduction of cost of intervention, and at the end, improved clinical outcomes, which is the most important thing for our patients. Here in blue, you can see the things that we already are doing in the hospital. We would like to introduce the use of 3D printing in all these 8 types of products in the normal practice of the hospital, but we need to surpass the challenges we said before. And at the end, as Felipe Fenollosa will say, we would like to introduce 3D printing in the hospital, as nowadays the hospitals can ask for radiography and they have it on the table. So that would be what we would like to happen with 3D printing models. Thank you.